Hello and welcome to IMAGE The Motherload, the podcast for mums who work inside and outside of the home. I'm your host, Dominique McMullen, IMAGE Media's editorial director and mum of two lively young boys. Each week, I'm joined by a special guest to talk about the realities of modern motherhood, and hopefully will leave you feeling a little less alone and a little more seen. IMAGE The Motherload is powered by Peugeot and sponsored by It's for Women, Avoca and Liffey Valley. Today, I am joined by an extraordinary woman, Una Ennis. Last Christmas in December 2024, Una and her husband, Kenneth, received a devastating diagnosis for their son, Archie. They received a diagnosis of Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy, or DMD. It's a rare genetic disorder that leads to progressive muscular degeneration. We talk about the campaign to raise funds for Archie's treatment and the incredible effort that went into the Hell and Back race, which has since taken place. But the fight to raise funds for Archie is still very much happening. So if you can, please do donate, because every little bit helps bring this beautiful boy closer to the care that he really desperately needs. I'm honoured to share this conversation with you today. I hope that you enjoy. Welcome to the Motherload.
Thank
Una.
you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm okay. I have my days. I'm so busy, I suppose. But I'm just trying to do my best and to keep going and to hopefully one day see the finish line and get Archie the medicine that he needs.
Tell us about Archie. What does he love? What makes him laugh?
He is just a little character. He's just turned 8 now. And he is loving the football. He is like a referee. Him and Kenneth was watching the match last night, and the two of them, I was like, oh my God, they're just like twins. But
really,
he's a happy little boy. He's been doing play therapy, and even she said that he's so good, and he's not struggling in the sense of what's happening. That's one thing I kind of wanted to make sure that he'd be talking to somebody outside of us to see if he's actually okay. He's not mired in his head as to what's going on.
Yeah.
Just to try and help him grasp it all. Yeah. And look, he's 8. He doesn't really understand it, and he probably won't understand it for a while. And I hope that he doesn't until, one day I'll be able to say, look, we done everything that we can, and hopefully one day say that we got you this medicine. That's our goal.
How did you what kind of signs did you first have that there was something maybe not quite right?
I suppose Archie, we thought that, Archie was just being a lazy little boy, and that he was just laid back, and he wasn't interested. But he could never jump.
Ever?
Like, he could jump, but not like the kids his age. He would always be a little bit behind in milestones. Then we'd get there, but the jumping, he could never catch on to the jumping. Going up the stairs, he's really struggling with now. He kind of climbs the stairs. But before he was getting up the stairs, we've been doing physio. And I just thought it was a physical thing. Maybe we just keep going to physio and he'll get the strength back. And there was one day there, I was doing all the things that she was saying to do. I said, this is actually getting worse instead of better. So I just gave her a call, and she's so nice. And she was just saying, maybe come back in and we'll do more sessions. And then when we went in there, then she had said, oh, I just got a vibe. She said, maybe we'll go to the doctor and see, if she can do some tests. And I was like, okay, because she had called her superior into the room. And we went to the doctor's then, and I just got a vibe off her. At the start, we thought it was like dyspraxia. And
which is quite common.
Yeah. So when we went, we got an appointment with the doctor, and she just assessed him, like sitting up. So when Archie's sitting up, he's kind of, like really trying to get up.
Okay.
Where he shouldn't be. Most kids would just jump up, but he's like really trying, like working his core to stand up. The way he walks, he kind of lifts his shoulders a little bit. And boys with Duchenne would commonly have large calves. Archie's calf muscles are starting to get a little bit large now.
Okay.
Which is common, like.
Is that because they're working extra hard?
Yeah. And they're so it's like, when you go to the gym, the muscle is so hard, but Archie's muscle stays hard, and this is why he needs physio to stretch it out. I think I've gone off track there, so.
No, you were telling us about, so you were doing physio.
Oh, yeah,
and you
so
went to
the
the doctor.
Yeah. And I had said, look, I've been going to physio. I think we were just chatting, and I think maybe it's dyspraxia.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, no. So I was like, do you think it's something worse? And she said, yeah.
Hey, this is hard stuff to talk about. And if you want to change the subject, we can talk about something else at any point, okay?
No.
I mean that.
Yeah. So then she said that we would have to get a blood test, and we'd have to wait for 4 weeks. So, we kind of went off and just said, look, we have to just take it day by day and see how things go. And
4 weeks is a long time. Yeah.
But he was, Archie and Maisie kept us busy, and they're just two happy little kids that have no clue what's going on. So,
tell us about Maisie.
Maisie's
Maisie.
She's 3 going on 33. But she's great, and she kind of understands a little bit, she's
really?
like...
At 3, that's amazing.
Yeah, so Archie's been struggling going up and down the stairs, and one day we were coming out of... I just got them washed and dressed, and they wanted to go on their screens while I was getting ready, and I was like, oh, okay, you can have 20 minutes. The laptops, the iPads are downstairs. Maisie, run down and get them. And she's like, okay. She comes up with just her iPad, and then Archie's like, oh, Mummy, she didn't get mine. I was like, Maisie, can you run down and get Archie's his iPad? And he was like, yeah, because my muscles are tired. And she went down and got them, and she was like, Mommy, am I a good girl now for getting that? Because Archie's legs are tired. I'm like, yeah. So like in little things like that, she kind of understands. But yeah, I suppose going back to the doctor, then she rang me and said that, the results are in, and if you can bring, if yourself and your husband can come, and just don't come on your own, basically.
Oh, God.
So I was like, okay, this isn't going to be good. But, when you're waiting in those 4 weeks, your mind is constantly racing as to, okay, she's a neuromuscular doctor. Archie has these symptoms. Of course, everybody Googles these things. And I came across Duchenne, and I said it to Kenna, and we were like, no, let's just wait and see what she has to say. And then when we went in, then it was just, it was horrible. But, they're trying their best to be supportive. But, when you get a diagnosis with no medicine, and she said, there's, he has Duchenne, and most boys that have Duchenne would probably be in a wheelchair by 10. But she said, things are moving in the medicine world, and she said there's a new gene therapy out. Now she said, Una, it's millions, and most parents would have to crowdfund for it. And she said, it's out there, it's past. It's something that could help him slightly. And I said, well, look, I have to do whatever I can. I have to be able to tell him that when he's older, that we tried everything to try and get him the help. So that's what we've been doing now. We're trying to fundraise to get him the medicine. And, I suppose in that room when she first told us was just, I never seen Kenna cry like that. And they kind of just went through that, there is boys out there that, even though they have a wheelchair, which scares the living daylights out of us, because their little boy was so normal before all of this. And then it just kind of lands on you, even though she said it's a genetic condition and he was born with it, and, there's nothing that you can do. It's just these things happen in life. But I think, I suppose if he was born with it, we'd probably be, I don't know. I don't think you'd ever get used to something like that. But it's just like a transition overnight. It's kind of like, yeah. And grieving for a life that we thought that Archie would have. But look, he's happy, and he's loving his swimming lessons, and he's doing really well. He's doing hydrotherapy, and we just had a physio assessment with his new team yesterday, so we're looking forward to getting into that.
What does day-to-day look like for you? Are you doing those kind of appointments with him every day, or?
So we've actually had to wait 5 months for physiotherapy, which is very frustrating because, you know, you also don't have any medicine. And the one thing that we research is physio is so important because his muscles are so tight. And so we've been trying to just do our own physio every day. But you know yourself, it's not as good as what he should be getting. So I suppose, yeah, we've had to wait a long time for that. So he's hopefully starting that next week.
Okay.
And I suppose that's something that I'm trying to look into about maybe physio being a little bit better in this country because it's all we have right now and we could work with that. And I've been speaking to other parents that have boys with Duchenne, and I was speaking to this lovely man that his boy is now 14 and still walking.
Brilliant.
He got diagnosed here, and like the same thing, frustrated with the physio. He couldn't, it's just a long list, and the girls are lovely. They really are, and they're so supportive when you get there. But it's when you get there is the thing. And then his partner lives in the UK, and the UK are so advanced with boys with Duchenne.
Really?
So he also got a diagnosis over there, and he had physio the next day.
Wow.
So it's just a difference in not, like, I suppose not many people would know about Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy. And in the UK, it's like just the support and the care is just amazing over there. We're actually trying to get Archie into a clinic over there too because they're a centre of excellence in Duchenne.
Okay, wow.
So we're trying to get him in there. And they also get more chances of trials like new medicine becoming available. So just to have him on the list over there and to, you know, maybe get some sort of medicine.
Would you move your family over there?
I suppose at the start we were thinking that we would do whatever we can, but like the UK is only half an hour away, and I wouldn't want to disturb Archie's whole life routine. Yeah. You know, he has his little friends on the road, and he goes on play dates, and he has his swimming lessons, and you know, he has his own little life. And yeah, we'll probably have to travel for treatment, but it'll only hopefully be a couple of weeks. So if I get this gene therapy, you'll have to go over there for 12 weeks.
Okay.
So it's 3.2 million euro. But if you go there for 12 weeks, it's 200,000 for them to kind of look after it. You check, like, monitor them and stuff like that for the 12 weeks. And then you go back twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for how many years?
For 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Just to kind of check him, see how he's getting on and stuff like that. But even with the gene therapy, so the one that we're going for is good, but there's a new one that's meant to be coming out too, and that's even better. You know, it's as time goes on, medicine is evolving and they're learning. You know, there's so much involved that I suppose you could talk about it all day.
Yeah.
But look, I think as a mother you would do anything for your son, and that's just what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And the treatment is in the US, the gene treatment.
The treatment is in the US, so
okay, yeah.
It's kind of, America is so good with medicine, it's kind of all over America now.
Yeah.
There's a new medicine as well coming to, well, it could take years to come to Ireland. That's also in the US. So I suppose we looked into moving to America too, but you would have to have like health insurance. And again, it's taking Archie away from his family, and we wouldn't have the support that we have now. Do you know, everybody is so good and everybody knows Archie. And, you know, he said to me the other day, Mammy, my friend come up to me and said, Archie, you're a celebrity. You're famous, he said. And I was like, oh, I said, that's probably because, you know, like we do TikToks and stuff like that, and I want them to be like a happy thing. And I said, and you know, he probably knows that your muscles are tired too. And he, you know, he probably sees your videos and stuff like that. So I just try and make it like a positive thing.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes, and the doctor said that he will have more questions to ask you. And he had a football training the night before, and we only do football every once in a while just because of his legs are sore, but if he wants to go, I'll bring him. Yeah. And then he had a football party the next day, but I think he was just thinking to himself, he said, Mammy, why can't I run as fast as those other little boys? And I says, and you know, when they ask them questions, you're like, oh. But I said, well, maybe, I think it's probably because your muscles are just that little bit tired. But I said, like, everybody's different, Archie. Look, Daddy can run faster than me. Do you know, it's good to be different, and it's good to, you know, you were a great little referee. You were kind of saying what to do and stuff like that. But yeah, it's questions like that where you're just like, oh God, you know, is it? Is he, thinking about these things? But that's why I bring him to therapy, just to make sure that he's okay with everything, I suppose.
He seems like such a happy little boy.
He really is such a happy little boy, and he's just he's full of beans. He hates going to bed like all boys do, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mommy, can I have a late night? And but we had been to Tato Park last week, and we just noticed that he was tired and his legs are tired, and he just wanted to be lifted all the time. And we just seen then that day that, oh my God, like this is, starting to happen, I suppose.
The gene therapy, does that stop the progression in its tracks?
It will never stop. It'll never cure it, but we hope that it will slow it down.
Okay.
And to slow down the progression, and to hopefully give him that little bit longer life expectancy. Because they're saying, things start to change in the teenage years, and some people, if they're lucky, live till they're 30. And it's not the life that you expect your little boy to have. So I'm just trying to get whatever medicine I can.
Una, you're so brave. You're the fight that you are fighting is exceptional. And I know it probably doesn't feel like that. But to sit here and talk to people like me about this, I know must be so bloody difficult. And the last thing that you probably want to do. But the wave of support that you've created is exceptional.
No, I just want to help. I just want to help Archie, and I just want to help. There's 110 boys in this country with this condition.
Is there?
And they have no help. They're frustrated with no medication available in 2025. It's just, why do they have it in America? Why do they have it in the UK? Why can't we have it here? This country has a lot of money. They could help. They could reach out a hand and help all these little boys struggling to eat their meals, to walk to the bathroom. Simple tasks that are tough for them. But hopefully with all of this and, going 100 miles an hour to spread awareness and to tell people that Duchenne is out there, and, it could knock on your door next, because I certainly didn't think that was going to come to us. But it has, and with everybody's support, hopefully we'll get there in the end. I hope.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Yeah. I hope so.
Talk to me about how you're looking after yourself in all of this. Or are you? Are you managing to find moments, small moments, to ground yourself, to...
I suppose that's what I really struggled with at the start, because you're trying to fundraise, and you're trying to do everything to get the money up, I suppose, to get this medicine. And it's just something that I really struggle with. But I've been having therapy, and my family said, if you don't look after yourself, you're not going to be able to look after him. So I've been trying to do little things. But as a mommy, you've so much going on, and you always put yourself to the last of the pile. But I'm trying to get out on a run, and I suppose the events with Helen back and stuff like that, that's making me get out on a run to be like, oh God, this is coming up. But
yeah, so you're doing Helen back in Kilrudery, and fundraising. Get Better with Chris is part of it. Ask Paul, Catherine Thomas. We've just come on as media partners as well to try and support you.
Yeah.
It's like a terrifying race, though.
It is, but it'll be great. It will. It'll be a great day.
It will.
There's a lot of people doing it, and there's still spaces available, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it'll be amazing, And I think even at the events, it's amazing to see everybody was still very emotional, to think, oh, all these people are here for Archie, All these people are doing this for Archie and Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy, and I just hope that we get the message out there that they need the help. And
how has it felt to get that support? I mean, have there been any particular moments that you're like, wow, I can't believe these people are all behind me?
Yeah. So I suppose every day it just blows my mind of the support, and people that I don't even know are knocking on the door, and what can I do to help? And our local shopping centre is like doing massive events all over the month of May and June, and there's signs of Archie's Army all over it. And just when I'm running in to grab a few bits and I see Archie's Army on the posters, you're like, oh my God.
Does it help for you emotionally,
I
psychologically?
think it helps me to think that hopefully we'll get there. It gives me hope that we will get there. There's been, football events and races, and there's been stuff every single weekend. And again, that one person saying to me, oh my God, Una, you're amazing. And I don't feel like I am until I get the medicine. And that's what I said. I said, yeah, but I still have no medicine, and they said, but we will get you that. And I just felt like, oh my God, and he didn't even know me, and he's just saying, we'll get you there. And everybody's just so amazing. The community spirit in Tala have the biggest hearts, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. They really rallied around us, and they got us there, and our family and our friends, and yeah.
How much have you fundraised so far?
So there's over 820,000 now. Yeah, which is incredible.
Amazing.
Within 5 months.
Amazing.
So we told our story 5 months ago, and there's over 800,000 now, which, Paul and David has been saying to us, Una, it's unheard of to be able to do something like that. And, it's amazing. But then again, it's only a percentage of what?
It's not enough.
It's 3.5 million euro, which is absolutely crazy to think, to put that price on a little boy's life. Like, I know there are businesses and there are pharmaceutical companies, and there's so much research gone into it. And when you think about it, like, it does all add up. But I suppose it's a little boy's life at the end of the day. Like, it's gonna basically save him and let him run around with his friends for as long as possible, which is, yeah.
You were a healthcare assistant. And you recently went back to work to a place you've been in for 10 years.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What was that like going back to work?
It was a bit strange, but I suppose the team that I work with are amazing. Yeah. And they've been so supportive through it all. And I suppose they're like my little family too. And going back there, I work in palliative care. So it's, that's just a big part of my heart too.
Yeah.
And I just kind of loved getting back into the swing of things and stuff like that. But I suppose now being kind of settled back into work, I think I went back thinking that I was going to go back to work and maybe everything was going to be the same.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's very different. And I think down the line, will I be able to work?
Yeah. It means a lot to your job. I mean, it's a special role to be working in palliative care.
It's a special place. It really is. And people just say, how do you work there? But, I would do anything to help anybody. And I think when somebody is in a tough place like that, I just love to help them and, get them through each day because, they're spending their last couple of days, maybe their last couple of weeks with us. And I just try and make their life as comfortable and to just get them through each day pain-free.
Yeah, I have personal experience of a hospice, and people like you are angels. I mean, you change everything with your kindness. It really makes a difference to people's lives. The fact that you're doing that with everything else that's going on, I know it's not the same thing at all, but it's phenomenal that you're doing that.
It is tough, I suppose. And, I feel like since going back to the work, did I let the side down with the fundraising and stuff like that? And, I'm so new to it all and I'm trying to do it all and do my best. That's what I'm trying to do. So I think I'll just take each day as it comes. And when I went back to work, they're very good and I've reduced my hours. I only work till 2:00 for 2 days a week. So kind of in and out, and they've been so good to me. So we'll see how it goes.
Do you get a lot out of it? Is it important for you to work?
I suppose thinking when I first went back that I probably would have, but because things have changed so much now, I don't know. Like, before all of this happened, I knew I'd be in the hospice for maybe the rest of my life, but now things have changed. And I just don't know. Like, I don't know how things are going to go with Archie. I don't know.
You can't be looking into the future.
The future is uncertain, I suppose. And I suppose you were very stable before all of this, and now kind of throwing a spanner in the works. We don't know how things are going to be. And, you know, Archie's a lot of appointments and there's a lot going on with the fundraising and stuff like that. But I suppose in the future, if we do get medicine, maybe things will settle down again.
As a mum, the reality is you spend a lot of time in the car, whether juggling work or kids or home or anything in between. The other Image mums and I recently road tested the Peugeot 3008 and 5008, and we were genuinely so impressed. They are spacious. They can fit buggies, car seats, bicycles, sports gear, and anything else you can think of. And they're full of innovative tech as well. The 3008 SUV is a perfect mix of style and practicality, and the 5008 has 7 seats if you need them. So whether you've got babies or toddlers or teens, Peugeot really has sort of everything. When life gets busy, you need a car that can keep up, and Peugeot just gets it. Talk to me about Kenneth in all of this. How is he doing? What has all this taught you about your relationship? I mean, you seem so strong together.
Kenneth is, you know, he's amazing and he's the best dad. You know, Archie and him are like the best of friends. And I suppose any dad getting this news would take it really, really hard. And he's such a strong person. But I think, you know, when something like this happens to your child, it's hard. But he's so good, and you know, he's thrown himself back into work, into football, and I think that's his kind of therapy. You know, we chat. And I suppose I've been trying to talk to him and trying to get him to have some, like, to speak to somebody.
Yeah. It's always hard to drag them into therapy.
So he's trying, and I think because Archie's okay now, like we do see him getting a little bit weaker, but he's still a happy little character. And I want to keep him like that. Yeah. And I think if things are to change, I think that's when he's struggling inside now, but I want to keep Archie like that too, because Archie's okay, so Kenneth is okay.
Yeah.
In a sense, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But he's thrown himself back into work, and he's so supportive of me, you know, with everything going on with social media and trying to get back to everybody and trying to, you know, thank everybody and trying to do the events. And, you know, Kenneth wouldn't be a social media. He's real old school, you know, he'd turn up to the events, but he's kind of shy in a way, but it's kind of taken him out of his shell, I suppose, you know, speaking to, you know, on a stage to thank everybody.
That's a lot.
He done Get Better with Chris, and you know, he was so good talking to Chris, because he just doesn't really.
It's not natural for him.
No, but he's okay now, and he's doing his work, and he's
well done, Kenneth.
Yeah, he's amazing. He really is the best dad, you know, and he's the best husband as well. He's so supportive, and yeah, oh God, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that, you know, and some parents don't have the support that we have, and we're so grateful. I'm so grateful for Kenneth and my family and my friends and everybody, and he's the same.
How are your wider family? I'm thinking about grandparents or aunties, uncles, cousins, because this is a journey for them too.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we see Archie every day.
Yeah.
So we're that little bit okay, like we have him here and he's okay, where they don't, like they see him every second day, or they try and pop up to the house. And I suppose when they first found out the house was full, they just wanted eyes on him all the time. And just to think, oh my God, like everybody was just absolutely heartbroken that was going to happen to their little Archie, you know?
Yeah.
Their little grandson and nephew.
And are they supporting you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good.
Good.
And they're like, if we can't get to an event, they're going to the event. They've just been amazing. Or even sometimes, like, we have a big golf event now coming up in July.
Okay.
And my sister is she knows everything that I have going on. So she's been going to the golf meetings, and she's been kind of looking after the financial side of things to make sure it goes into the bank, and, you know, because I have so much going on. I have Helen back coming up, and then she's, you know, I suppose when people are coming to us to help us, we need to be communicating with them, and, you know, but we have so much going on. So she's kind of looking after the golf event, and yeah.
It's like running a small business. It's like
Honest to
running
God.
a medium-sized business.
Yeah.
And like it's
Yeah,
no
it really
joke.
is. Yeah. And you want to be so grateful and so thankful, and you don't want to miss a message, but
Yeah, but
it's
I know you've
non-stop.
got to protect yourself as well. I wonder, does it take its toll on you? I mean, do you ever feel days that you have to show up on social media and you just don't want to?
Yeah, I have to, because I have to keep the story alive. I have to keep, the fundraising going. I just can't have a day off. And I don't think I've had a day off since we've told our story, but I'll keep going until I get what I have to get for Archie.
He recently turned 8.
Yeah.
Tell me about his birthday.
So he had a pool party in our local leisure centre, and he had all of his friends. He invited the whole school.
Does he love swimming?
He loves swimming. You see, swimming is so easy on his muscles.
I see.
So he feels lighter in the pool, and he's not tense, I suppose, in the pool. And he gets better range of motion on his muscles. But yeah, he had the whole school at the pool party. No. He invited the whole school. I think there was about 20 or 30 kids.
Wow.
Yeah. But you know what, with the year that was in it, we were like, just let him do whatever he wants to do. And he had all of his little pals there, and we had the pool party, but there was like a bouncy castle on the pool.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so it was cool. And then they went into a room where they had like pizza and sweets and cake. And he just had the best day ever. Yeah. Yeah. He really did.
Was Maisie there too?
Oh, Maisie was there, and all the cousins were there, and the whole family. And he was just like, you could see it in him. I was looking at him. He was kind of shy, but he was smiling. He's like, "Mommy, we're going to do the cake now." But he was it was like he was so proud, like having all of his friends there.
Good man.
Yeah.
What cake was it? What's he into at the moment?
Was it in Minecraft?
Ah, okay, yeah.
So Minecraft, he loves Minecraft. I actually baked the cake and ordered stuff off Amazon. Yeah.
No, you did not.
I did. Yeah.
With all you've got going on.
I know, but I love to make the kids' birthday cake. That's like a kind of a new tradition, and but yeah, we baked the cake, and his friends loved it. He loved it. It actually tasted okay too. But yeah.
What kind of a cake was it?
Just chocolate.
God, fair play to you.
Chocolate, yeah.
I've never managed to do that.
Yeah, but I suppose the day that was in it was, he had a great day. Yeah.
What did that birthday mean to you? That was his first birthday since diagnosis.
Yeah, I suppose since getting the diagnosis, we're going to make each day count and make it extra special, and every birthday we're going to make extra special. And he's been spoiled rotten, and sometimes it's getting out of hand, but you can't help it. You know that way he, anytime he goes out now, he gets a toy, and even from his family, they can't help but spoil him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the house is like Smith's. Honest to God. He since posting our story as well, we met up with another guy that wanted to help Archie, and he had a great day out. This guy drove a Lamborghini, and that's Archie's favourite car.
Wow.
They took him to Smith's, and they filled 2 trolley fulls of toys. Some were like the same toys. It was like supermarket sweep. He was just throwing everything into the trolley. He was delighted at himself. But yeah, that's what it's all about. And we're just celebrating that little bit more every day. Yeah.
What was the big birthday present
that he got? He got an iPad.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he got an iPad. Cool. Yeah. So he's loving that.
Good man, Archie.
He got loads of stuff. He got he's into Shamrock Rovers, so he got the season ticket. He got Shamrock Rovers beanbag. He got loads. Like we it was like Christmas again, the house. But I think he needed that, and we needed that, and hopefully there'll be plenty more birthdays that we can celebrate.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
Hopefully, if we get this medicine, there'll be lots of more birthdays.
Yeah.
Because
that little bit of relief for you guys to just celebrate rather than be, the day to day, which is not easy for you at the moment.
No, it's really not. But, we found out as well 2 weeks before Christmas. So.
Can't imagine in the immediate aftermath. I mean, how did you cope? What did you do?
I don't think we did. I think all tools were dropped. We still had to get a couple of bits in for the kids. But we just soldiered on, and we just said, look, we have to do our best for the kids for Christmas. Let's just get to Christmas, and let's just pretend it all didn't happen. Yeah. Let's deal with it after Christmas.
Did you manage to actually do that?
I did because the kids are there. So you put a brave face on, and when they go to bed is when reality hits. But
you get to fall apart a little bit, which is important to do too. You can't be strong all the time.
Yeah.
As mums, we try to be strong all the time and you can't.
But it was a good distraction. You know, we said we would normally go to family on Christmas Day, but we said, let's not. Let's just stay in the house and cook dinner and let the kids play with their toys. And we actually had Kenneth's mum and dad come up to us. We just stayed in all day, and it was the perfect day. Yeah, because we had the kids there and the kids were happy. And at that stage, Archie didn't know anything. And, you know, when the doctor told us, I was like, God, I'm never telling him this.
Really?
Yeah. What
made you decide to tell him? Or what have you told him?
I think as it sank in, it's important that he knows. You know, it's his little body. Our family and stuff got his books, and in the books it said that it's so important that you tell them at such an early age, because they know, they feel there's something going on here. What is going on? Why can't I get up the stairs?
Yeah.
And in telling them, it gives them a sense of relief. Oh, that's why.
They understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his reaction when you told him?
So I kind of said, Archie, you know the way we've been going to all of these appointments, and you know the way it's hard to get up the stairs sometimes. And he said, yeah. I said, well, that's because your little muscles are tired sometimes. And he said, is that okay, ma'am? I said, yeah. I said, Mommy and Daddy will help you up the stairs, or whatever you need to do, Mommy and Daddy will always be there to help.
It's okay. Una, what do you want people listening to know? What's the most important thing that people can help you with? I mean, I know it's financially, I know it's getting that medicine. Is there anything else that people can do practically to support you, emotionally to support you, as a community to support you?
I suppose our community have done all that they can do, and they're still doing. But just if we have, you know, like we're doing fundraising events, and if people would like to show up, like we have the Hell and Back is our next one, and that's a really big event, and that could really help massively if people want to sign up and come to Hell and Back, or if they would like to come to any events, I suppose. On Instagram I do have, you know, events that's coming up every weekend. So there's always something on each weekend. And this weekend, Archie's actually having a boys' day in the square. So
what happens at a boys' day?
Yeah. So he's having a boys' day this coming Saturday. It's like a superhero event.
So fun.
They have invited Archie and his 7 friends to come to the movies, then to a superhero event, then to meet 98 FM. That's his favourite radio station. He's always like, Mom, put 98 on. And then he will go to his favourite teddy bear shop in the square, Huggy Wuggies. He's just, I think it's a YouTube thing. And then they're going to Nando's. Wow. Him and all of his friends, yeah.
That's a really nice
So he can't
day.
wait to go there. Yeah. Here, his mum. Did you ask Lucas's mum? Did you ask my friend's mum? Are they coming? Is it okay? So we're all excited to go, and you know, he's really he's looking forward to that. And I suppose it's little things like that, and like little acts of kindness like that that's putting a smile on Archie's face. I think that's what's overwhelming with like how good people really are, you know, not only to support him with the medicine, but just even supporting him and giving him those, you know, he's having a great time, you know, and his friends are coming with him, and that's just keeping him happy. And that's what I want to do every day, just make him happy.
Yeah. A boys' days every day.
Oh, boys, yeah. He'd be like, Mommy, can I have another boys' day? Wait a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And Huggy Wuggies is a new one for me. I haven't heard of that.
So it's a YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a boy who's a year younger than Archie, so it might be on the way for me, Huggy Wuggies.
Rainbow Friends, Huggy Wuggy, Minecraft, and you know, all those YouTube things. Yeah. Oh my God, the teddies that he has he's like a teddy collector. He loves all the teddies.
Okay.
Anywhere we go, we get the teddy now, but yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
He's like, Mommy, I have to add that to my collection. I'm like, where are we putting all these teddies, Archie? As well as Smith's, like.
Is Maisie getting lots of toys and stuff now as well? I don't want Maisie being left out.
No, she is. And we could never leave her out. And even It was Archie's birthday like that. So, he was spoiled rotten. I said, you have to get Maisie something now on his birthday. We obviously got presents and stuff for Maisie too, because you just couldn't leave her out. But he's so good. Like, he's like, Maisie, I'll get you this. And, yeah. He's such a kind little boy. He really is. Now, Maisie's 3 and she's struggling to share with her toys. But he doesn't. He's like, yeah, you can play. And, he's such a thoughtful little boy. Or even like if we were out and we seen a homeless person, Archie would always say, Mammy, when I get older and I get rich, I'm going to let him move into my house. I'm like, that's really kind of you, Archie. Yeah.
I saw that actually. I think it's on Instagram, him talking about when he was going to get rich.
Oh,
what he was going to have in his big mansion.
I think this is the conversation that the boys do have these days. I'm like, okay. Yeah, okay.
What was he talking about? He was going to have grass in his house or
so
something.
he's going to get a big house. It's going to be a lovely house. He's going to have fake grass on the balcony. He has this thing about having a balcony in his house, and he's going to drive a Tesla and a van, and he's going to have a girlfriend and kids. I'm like, okay, Archie, settle down a little bit now. You're moving way too fast from here.
But, enough of the girlfriend chat, please.
Yeah. That's when you're 21. Yeah, but I was thinking, God, is this a steroids bringing all of this on? And we had his friend for a play day, and no, his friend is the exact same, talking all about the girlfriends and the kids, and you're like, these are only 8 years of age. You need to,
Hilarious.
Oh,
yeah, we get lots of chats about. I have a 6-year-old boy, and we get lots of chats about crushes, about having crushes.
Yeah, crush. Yeah,
really? You're 6?
Yeah. It must be the conversations that they will have because very early on.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
What would you want other families who may receive diagnosis to know and to understand? Maybe someone's listening who's just recently received a diagnosis, or maybe they're further along on the journey. What would you like to say to them?
I suppose to have hope, and to, your boy is still going to be your little boy, and that's not going to change, and that Archie every day is a happy little boy, and he will continue to be a happy little boy, although he's got this diagnosis, but he's living life. And he's even, he's actually living more life now because of this. I suppose it is scary, but there is medication coming out every single day. And with the Juvenis that hopefully coming soon, that there is a bit of hope there. And everybody is different. We got this news overnight and we never thought it was going to be. But like that, everybody is different, and other boys are a little bit weaker than Archie. And then there's other boys that have Duchenne and they're still walking at 17. They're still playing basketball. Everybody is different. And I suppose you need to just live in your own little bubble and just live in your own lane and take each day as it comes. And, everybody's different, but I suppose just to have hope and that we're all like a little family of Duchenne families, and we're all here to support. And I would happily help anybody that needs any help or support, or just an ear on the other end of the phone to cry, and because we're all going through it, and just to support each other, but also just to have hope. And there is medicine evolving every day.
And why do you hope that Archie learns from watching you navigate the world, and what do you hope that he always knows?
I suppose that I would always tell Archie is that, everybody is different, and it's good to be different. And just to be, kind, and to always be, there's always hope out there, and to know that it's not the end of the world. We can still live with this.
Yeah.
We can live with this and make each day count, and just to know that everybody is different and it's okay to be different. Yeah.
Una, you're the most phenomenal, strong, brave, wonderful woman and mother, and he's very lucky to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for talking to us here
Thanks
today.
for having me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of IMAGE The Motherload. This is the part where I ask you to please tell a friend about us, or like, rate, review, subscribe, all those lovely things. It helps us reach new people who might like to hear this information. IMAGE The Motherload is powered by Peugeot and sponsored by Evoca. It's for women and Liffey Valley. And thank you finally for listening. Look after yourself this week. You've got this.